Hi, I'm Sean. Thank you for checking out WebRTC for the streamer. I, I apologize, my setup isn't too professional. I'm not actually a streamer. I'm a programmer by trade, and my background is working in open source. So I am one of the developers that worked on adding WebRTC support to OBS, and I maintain an open source project called BroadcastBox. And I had done a bunch of work in the WebRTC space before that on this project called Pion and a book called WebRTC for the Curious. My interest or love for the streaming space started about 10 years ago. I worked at a startup called Infiniscene that was working on making it easier for people to stream. And I fell in love with it because I saw a family that was working on building a game themselves and they were streaming it together. So the kids were and the parents were all building at the same time and they were all co-streaming, and that was a moment that felt really beautiful and connected to me because instead of just having a talking head talking to an audience, it was a group of people that were connected and like finding joy through streaming together. And I also feel this watching this new resurgence of people streaming together on Discord, so that someone streams a movie or multiple people stream a game, and it's just something that's more connected. And it feels important to work on this because it's I think it's better for everyone. Instead of like sitting and passively consuming something, we're all connected. And this is where WebRTC comes into it. Like this technology will let more of that happen. And so I'll kind of talk about the why of that, and by showing this website. So there's this website, WebRTC for the streamer. I had written this originally, and then the feedback was that I'd gotten was a video would help a lot with that. So here at these are like the top 6 reasons, and I'll talk through like all the details and the whys of that. So first we'll go into the actual speed or the latency. So WebRTC gives you like sub 500 milliseconds of latency, and really what that means is it feels like you're on a conference call. The video sent from OBS or the video sent directly from your browser, it is like, you're just talking to someone directly. And that's cool for 2 reasons. One is that traditional streaming where you're pushing your video to an audience, and instead of chat having that multiple seconds of delayed, like when it happens instantly, you feel more connected to people. And the one that is particularly important to me is the co-streaming, or like doing a hangout with a friend, that instead of you passively watching someone stream, you and a couple of other friends are in a Discord channel, and you are all streaming gameplay and talking about your day. And for me, that is what is just absolutely beautiful about streaming instead of that. And so you can actually try it down at the bottom of this page. So I'll do publish webcam. So right now this is just my local machine. I'm just displaying my webcam coming right out of the computer. And when I hit this watch stream, it's going to actually download my video from the server in New York. And you can see the latency between these, so it's pretty indistinguishable. This is the same kind of latency you can expect out of OBS or whatever streaming software you want to use. So we'll go back up to that speed section. And next, onto privacy. So this is a little more technical, but something that I want to get ahead of is, right now it feels wrong to me that the streaming servers have full access to your video as it flows through. So that means that they can examine it, and they can do things like DMCA strikes for music. They can insert ads. They just have that full access. But WebRTC has this interesting API that gives you end-to-end encryption. So as a broadcaster, you will exchange your keys with your viewers directly. And your viewers are the only people that can actually decrypt the video. So you'll send your video to that WebRTC server, but the WebRTC server itself has no access to the media. So all it sees is just a bunch of bits flowing through. There's nothing it can do about it. All it can do is pass it to the viewers, and the viewers watch it. This is the future that I want when it comes to streaming technology. I think the same that I don't want people reading my emails that sit on a foreign server. I don't want people to have access to my files. I believe that we have the same right to the video that flows through servers. This is a little more the self-hosted. I don't think this is important to most people, but if you're in the open source community and you care about this, this is like one of the reasons that I love WebRTC, or the parts that excite me, is that it's really easy to start up your own WebRTC server like Broadcast Box or all these others. And there's a couple different reasons for it. Like WebRTC is popular outside of streaming. It's already a popular technology for conferencing and cameras, all these other places. And then what's also nice is you can use WebRTC for watching and playback. Typically, you'll use RTMP and then you'll use HLS. That just means you have more technology to deal with. And then one thing that is particularly interesting to me is WebRTC supports peer-to-peer. So with OBS today, you think like, okay, I upload to a server and then someone downloads to the server. With WebRTC, you can actually just push video straight to your browser. So if you only have one person that you want to watch your stream, you could actually just go straight from OBS into Chrome or Firefox, and with no servers in the middle, your video packets flow right there. And so you save on server costs, it's going to be faster, it's going to be more secure, and that's just very exciting to me because it's wild to me that, like, imagine if you're in the same network and you want to send video to a coworker or something like that, that you have to upload all the way to a server and it comes all the way back from the internet, when it could just stay in the same network. The other one that's really cool is this mesh topology. So imagine that with OBS, you can do that peer-to-peer. You send it to user A, and then user A sends your video to user B, but they also send it to user C, and you can like do this mesh fan out of video. So it makes it really, really cheap for people to host their own infrastructure. You don't have to depend on a provider to do that. WebRTC is also really powerful because you can stream right from the browser. So that demo before where I just hit one page to publish now, you could do that for anything. That if you can stream from your phone, you can stream from a computer if you don't feel comfortable installing OBS. One piece of software that's been amazing for this was OBS Ninja. The fact that I can invite a friend into a co-stream, the fact that I can bring all these non-technical users in, I think is really important for the space. That it would allow all these new people to stream that didn't have a chance before. And like, what are the kind of things they would talk about? What is the kind of community make? I don't know. It always excited me and felt important to make streaming as accessible as possible to everyone. This is a little more of a technical section, but it excites me because I always liked WebRTC because it would let me go and stream into networks where it wasn't possible before. So the existing protocols are really great for if you're streaming from a powerful machine that has a lot of network. But what if you want to do something like IRL streaming, or what if you want to do something like, I don't know, yeah, just these different interesting things, or like you want to stream from like a robot or these other places that just won't have a powerful, stable network. The first thing that's really cool is that WebRTC has sender-driven bandwidth estimation. And just to make it as simple as possible, the thing that really is wrong about streaming right now is that when you start your stream, you set a bit rate, and then you stick with that bit rate forever. And that's just not the way the internet works. You imagine that someone comes onto the network and they watch a video and then they leave the network. Like, the amount of bandwidth is going to constantly changing. And so what we could have in the future is where OBS is getting metadata back from the server that tells it how much bandwidth is available. So imagine you start your stream and it goes at 1080p and it's beautiful, but you have enough bandwidth to then upgrade to 2160p. But then someone comes on the network and they start watching Netflix or torrenting or something, and they like bomb the bandwidth. Server could respond and say, hey, you actually don't have enough bandwidth now, I need you to downgrade. And so instead of your stream being broken because there's not enough bandwidth available, now it could recover and dynamically adjust. And I think this would be really powerful because it means less things to set in your broadcasting software, and it also means it handles networks more robustly. WebRTC also has these cool things to handle lossy networks. Think cellular or satellite. So one thing is forward error correction. Again, a more technical concept, but the idea is that forward error correction lets you send extra content ahead of time. So imagine if your network always drops 10% of video. You could send 110%, so when it comes across the network, even if you have these red lost packets, when the server gets it, it sees everything is okay because you've used this forward error correction. Negative acknowledgements is another technique where instead of sending it ahead of time, the server can go back and re-request. I don't think it's worth talking about these things too much, but if you're building interesting things, I see it a lot in robotics, I see it in mobile streaming. Like, I think these things are important, and I want people to be aware of them so they can take advantage of them. WebRTC also has this thing called simulcast. So with simulcast, inside of OBS, you send all of your different quality levels, your 2160p, your 1440p, and then the server then forwards them out. So this is a requirement if you want to do that end-to-end encryption, because if the server can't do the transcodes for you. But then this also has other benefits where now, since you're doing all of your layers yourself, you have greater control. You can say, like, I want all of my layers to be the highest quality possible. I want to do different, all these different configurations that we just didn't have before if the server controlled everything. One caveat to this would be that if you are upload bandwidth constrained, this could be more taxing on your network. I don't have an answer for that. Like, my hope is that with more advanced bit rates, that this is less of a problem. Yeah, and so that's really like the gist of why I'm excited about WIP and WebRTC. So you can use it today: OBS, FFmpeg, GStreamer, lots of different clients and servers. Broadcast Box is an open source server that you can use it against. There's all these different things, and lots of services supported as well. And yeah, I just want to hear people's feedback. Like, what is exciting about it, or how does it help them, or how like, where is it lacking? This is a very aspirational or project for me. I wanted to see it help as many people as possible. So if it works for you, or if it doesn't, like, join the Broadcast Box Discord, and I would love your feedback about what it does or how it can be better. And I'm excited to hear from you and see what I can do to help. Thanks.